Hello everyone and welcome to Brian Almost Keeps Up with the Times. So, I've had on my channel a few times, Boomer Death Shadow I always called it. And you might notice that this is not that list. It has Ragavans, it has Dragon Rage Channelers, it has Holy Heats. But here's the funny thing about this list. This is also not what Death Shadow is doing right now. And this list is just essentially a culmination of what I already own. So it's not entirely Modern Death Shadow. Modern Death Shadow's in a completely different spot right now. It has Underworld Breaches. It's running Jingatha. I always forget about Jingatha when I have it as a creature in my sideboard. And I figured, okay, why don't I just take the pieces I already have and let's just try that. Let's see how good that is. And we might continue to mix and match as time goes on. In fact, you're going to see a last minute edit here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these Stubborn Denials. And Ron, if you're watching, I still hate this card. We're going to add in one more Drown in the Lock. Why not? And we're going to try a second Inquisition. So let's go through the deck so you guys can see what it is now that I'm, I swear I'm done tuning it. We're about to record a video. So obviously, let's start with Death Shadow, the titular character of this deck. So it's a 1 mana 13/13, but it's not because it gets -1/-1, where X is your life total. So you have to be under 13 for this to be anything. It's generally anywhere between a 5/5 and an 8/8, depending on the game state. Going down to our further creatures, we have 4 Dragon Rage Channelers. These are busted. They give you such card selection. They're amazing. And also, if you get Delirium, which is 4 different card types in your graveyard, they fly and get +2/+2, and they have to attack. My running gag with Modern Horizons cards is they're always telling you how to win the game. As in, Dragon Rage Channeler is telling you, attack with me. That's how you win. Not really a drawback in my opinion. Or Ragavans as well. Again, it's just so versatile. It dashes, it's also a 1-drop. It can just win you the game by stealing your opponent's things. It's the best creature in red, what are you going to say? Other 1-drops, of course, is our discard package. 3 Thoughtseize and 2 Inquisition of Kozilek to attack our opponent's hand, to hopefully get rid of their removal so that our creature sticks. We also have our own removal in Unholy Heat. So this is another Delirium card. Either it's a bad shock or it's an amazing lightning bolt. It can't target your opponent's face, but it is essentially hard removal in red, which is great for 1 mana. We also have 2 lightning bolts down here if we do need to go face, and also just kind of rounding out our removal package. In the 0-drops, we have Mishra's Baubles. These help turn on Dragon Rage Channeler, they fill the graveyard for Murktide, and they draw you cards. What's not to love? Also, Street Wraith is kind of filling this void as well. They lower our life total. They make it so that we're essentially running 52 cards, not 60, between the Baubles and the Street Wraiths. It's just getting air out of your deck. It's everything you want to do. A lot of Death Shadow decks don't run Street Wraith anymore. And again, this is just an old list that I tried updating with what I have, hence Murktide being here. Let's talk about Murktide. So Murktide is another Modern Horizons card that has way too much text on it. So it's a 7-drop, but it's not because it has Delve. It flies. If you exile cards while you're delving, it gets +1/+1 counters for each instant and sorcery you exile. And if for any reason, like say you cast a second Murktide, it continues to get +1/+1 counters. So cracked in half. A little bit of permission magic and for the removal with Drown in the Locks. 4 expressive iterations for card draw and selection. And finally, just 2 Croxes. Just inevitability. They're also a backup win con. There's a lot of threats in Death Shadow. And I used to make fun of my friend Ron a lot while playing against him, especially when I was playing Death and Taxes. And he'll remember just how frustrated I got because this absolutely dismembers Modern Death and Taxes with all of its answers. But yeah, Croxa is one of those things where I look at Croxa and I would always joke that Croxa was such a mistake and people just didn't realize it for the longest time because Uro was a thing. But Croxa is equally as cracked in half, in my opinion. And, we have 2 basics, a swamp and an island, and then you just have a bunch of shocks and a bunch of fetches to get your life total down for Death Shadow. Now, my sideboard is probably awful. I fully admit that starting the video, but hey, it's what I had lying around. So we have 2 Thorax against white decks and just discard in general against control. We have an unlicensed Hearst, as well as 2 Relics of Progenitus to go after graveyard shenanigans, 2 Spell Pierces for even more control if you go up against things like Rhinos or creativity and you need to counterspell fight them. Dress Downs for stopping things like the elementals or just Omnath or anything where their abilities is going to be annoying. It also helps if you're going up against a deck that is like Sanctifier Envec that you literally cannot kill unless you have a Dress Down. 2 Culligan's commands. I love these. I think they're very versatile. Are they correct to play? Probably not. They're probably a little outdated, but I just enjoy them. Same thing with the Fatal Pushes. More removal in case you go up against a mirror or something like that. They're just good cards to have. And finally, an Engineered Explosives to go after things that go super wide, or again, things like Sanctifier Invec that we just can't kill otherwise. And there we have it, a basic, it's Boomer again, because I'm so slow in collecting cards, Death Shadow deck. Let's take it to a few one-on-one matches. We're not going to do a league this week, only because, as you literally saw in the beginning of this video, I'm still tuning this list, so I'll probably want to do that in between games. Don't worry, if I tune it, you'll be sure to see it as well. But hey, join me on some games. Let's go. All right, we lost the die roll, and I'll get that out the way. Don't have a ton of screen space. All right, so what do we have here? We have Hand Disruption Shadow, 2 Ragavans. I mean, if we find the second land, it's amazing. Or if just Ragavan doesn't die. Oh, is it just Island Pass? Opt. All right. So here's where my lack of Shadow Prowess certainly comes into play, because I don't know if I'm supposed to Thoughtseize or Ragavan here. I have 2 Ragavans, but I don't have a second land. So maybe I'm supposed to Ragavan so that if it doesn't die, I have mana. Because Ragavan is ramp. I mean, I realize he's not supposed to be, but is very much a ramp creature. Well, this is probably wrong, but hey, let's see if the monkey lives. We do not have a second land at the moment. All right, and now I feel very dirty for playing a turn 1 Ragavan in Modern. Might as well heal Run's turn here. Ooh, Bluetron. Well, now I'm glad I have the Thoughtseize. I don't think Ragavan's going to get bamfed off the table this turn, but it wouldn't surprise me if they bamf it off the table this turn. Or maybe they wait till my turn and I attack. But the Thoughtseize to get rid of counterspelly things is probably helpful. But Bluetron has, like, repeals and other things to just, you know, make Ragavan go away. We're going to hope real hard that Ragavan connects. They're letting us go real far here. Hey, we actually get to hit him. Counter target activate. Oh, so they stopped the Ragavan thing? I mean, they stopped us from getting our treasure, I'll give them that, but Trick Bind, that wasn't on my bingo sheet. Making Ragavan just a Savannah Lion, that's a thing. All right. They're hoping for a land 2. I guess we'll take the Expedition map. Make it harder for them to get Tron. Right. If they're stuck on 2, though, they'll just Expo map and pass. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure they'll just thirst, and they found the land. All right, this is an instant, right? Yeah, so they can just thirst for discovery. Oh, no, they're going to Expo map. They're going to Expo map, and then they're going to... Oh, crack it immediately. Man, they are really going to let us get that Ragavan hit in. Power plant, sure. Expressive Iteration. So we still haven't found any lands. We're going to get a hit in them. So what would win an entire Tron deck or 1 Monkey Boy? Syncopate. All right. So what are we trying to do here? I don't think Croxa's right. I think we just try an Expressive Iteration and try and find useful things. There's no way they have a counterspell, right? No, I didn't think so. Oh, man. All right. So 1 to hand will be Street Wraith. 1 to bottom will be Ragavan. 1 to exile will be the Bauble. You just cast the Bauble. See what our opponent's going to get up to next turn. Our opponent, reading Bauble here. I would have thought it was a well-known card by now. All right, what do you have going on? Condescend. All right, so we're going to have a real hard time casting spells after this turn. We still haven't found a land. Oh, man. Oh, man. We dug so deep, too. Another Thoughtseize. Well, that'll give us something to do if they kill old Raggy. Now it's Thirst, or is it Fabricate time? Fabricate. All right. They're going to find an artifact card. Probably Wormcoil Engine. Yeah, I was right. So Wormcoil Engine, kind of hard to kill. We have a Thoughtseize, though. We found a land. All right. We'll crack this now before they try and do anything fancy. Hit this. Sure thing. Take damage. Do all the stuff. We wouldn't be able to counter Wormcoil Engine with the Drown in the Lock. So I think we do just kind of go for this. Thought Sneeze. So they're gonna be able to do either. The Sundering Titan's gonna take all of our land, the Wormcoil. So either of these coming down is the worst. So I guess technically we go after Sundering Titan because the Wormcoil, at least we can like fight with Death Shadow technically. And now we'll take a bite and we'll see if we can find something cool on the top of their deck. We found an Expedition map. Because, like, Expressive's probably bad right now because we played a land. I mean, maybe we just play their Expedition map and we use it to find a land ourselves. I mean, either that or we Croxa and they just discard something. I'm going to get down another threat. I'm going to get down Death Shadow, and I'll just leave the treasure and not play Expedition map. It is Condescend for 0. Sure. Yes. All right. So they're pretty much just real hoping for 1 bottom, 1 top. So they must have found the land they wanted, right? Because they'll have 5 if it's not the correct one. Oh, they found an opt? Kept an opt? Really? Kept what they had on top, so they must... Okay, so now they're thrilling for discovery. So they're going to have 2 unknowns at the end of this. Oh no, they had to discard 2 Trick Binds, so they have 1 unknown. Now would be a great time to draw more lands. Unholy Heat. Not entirely entirely what I'm looking for here. I say the first thing we do is swing. We might be giving up on some damage with Death Shadow, but if we find like something cool off the top of their deck, I just want to cast that. It was just an island. I mean, kind of glad they don't have that. Oh, but I can Kroxa twice and just demolish their hand? So red, black, Kroxa? There's a lot of thinking in this deck. You know, meanwhile I'm playing Burn, it's just like count down, giggle, giggle, but like there's a lot of lines with Death Shadow. I'd also like to point out that it looks like I might just win this this game based off Ragavan alone, who was carrying me the whole time. Cracked in half. Finally pass it back. Kroxa in the bin. Yeah, no. Guess what, buddy? You don't get any cards in hand. Oop, nope. That needs to be a red. I've got 2. How many do you have? And they scoop the game. All right, against Blue Tron. So Spell Pierces, yeah. A commands, maybe. Dress Downs also. Oh no, we win the match because they were so salty. Well, that's one way to start. Let's go ahead and jump in and get a match 2. All right, match 2, and we win a die roll. Sure. I mean, it doesn't have any of our 1-drops. It has no Ragavans, but it has interaction and like baubles and stuff. So let's try it. I mean, again, I'm learning this the same as you guys are. While I had friends who played Death Shadow, I do not play it very often. Watery Grave. Sounds good. What's in your hand, opponent? Oh, so red-white elementals now with Leyline Bindings and Elish Norns. At least we got rid of their Ragavan. We'll also see what they got going on in their hand. They're going to get a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So I have played the deck my opponent's playing. They are playing an updated version that is scary. They draw another land. They Garden. All right. No help there. Ground in the lock. So we'll just play our Bloodstained Mire. We might shock our opponent at end step and put out a Murktide that can survive a Fury. But then again, if they get the Elish Norn down, we won't be surviving anything. They play an Arid Mesa, so we still know quite a few cards in their hand. We have no Shadow right now, so I don't see any reason to take extra damage. All right, so if I play... I guess we're done drawing lands. So I play Bloodstained Mire. Then the deck. Go get a Blood Crypt. No. Yeah, Blood Crypt. Steam Vent in my hand. Here, I'll take some damage. We'll bolt our opponent. Try and make Murktide a little bit bigger. Oh, I don't have 2 blue. Wow, that was silly of me. Oh, well. Oh man, misfetching is a great way to lose this game. We can counter a 1-drop though, or if they have to use another fetch land, we can counter the Fable, but if they just play the Sacred Foundry, we don't counter anything. Yep, that's totally what happened. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Here comes the Gobbo token. Now, we're gonna kill this only because, again, Murktide get big. I am playing so sloppy right now. It is clear I am not much of a Shadow player. Expressive Iteration, later. Now I have my 2 blue. Merc, 1, 2, 3. I'll keep stuff up just in case for 5. I mean, I literally have nothing to do with it, but it'll look threatening. So it's a 6/6, so they'll have to get Elish Norn down and then Fury in order to do it. Or I guess they can just Solitude it. If they just Solitude, like, that's beyond my my ability here. Let's see what they discard. They don't discard... Oh, they discarded a single land, and they bindinged my thing. That's why they have that Triome, I reckon. Darcy, okay, so first thing, Dragon Rage Channeler. Then blue-red, and play Expressive. Get to Surveil. Another Dragon Rage Channeler. We actually want that, so keep that on top. Fascinating. So we'll put Shadow into our hand, Thoughtseize to the bottom, and exile the Dragon Rage Channeler, and just cast the Dragon Rage Channeler. We're setting up, and then next turn... Oh, but we're just going to get Furied off the field. I forgot about that. All right, so... They're going to have enough mana to play Fury next turn, and they're just going to get rid of both of our Darcys, which is unfortunate. But we will have a Death Shadow, which will be a 2/2. So here comes Kiki Jiki. We have a Drown in the Lock, though, for Kiki Jiki. If they have a land, they'll just, like, hard cast Fury. I don't see a world where they hard cast Mom and wait to hardcast Fury. And also, like, if they let the Dragon Rage Channelers live, that's such a mistake. So if you have the ability, like, if you have the ability to kill him now, I feel like you kill him now. Ooh, Leyline's Binding. Gotta take him out the slow way. So clearly no intention on throwing their Fury away. A Bloodstained Mire. We can make, well, first things first. Blue, black. Just kill the reflections. Polluted Delta, definitely don't need that graveyard. All right, so that's online. And I feel like we just swing. Now we'll play the Shadow. We can always make that a 5/5. So now their Fury can take out one thing. Okay, so they have the ability to start casting their stuff now. So the question is, do they spend a turn casting Elish Norn, or do they go straight for Fury. We still have a Watery Grave in the deck, so we can still deal ourselves damage. Not gonna do anything, so they must have a Solitude. Ragavan, though, that does stuff. So Dashavan. We're gonna make them target stuff first, and then we'll do Death Shadowy things. Yeah, that's fine. So what are you targeting? Oh, they're just gonna target the Death Shadow. Well, this is free then. So we go back to 13. They can block Ragavan if they want. Yeah, sure, buddy. I mean, we are empty-handed. They do have a Mom and a Fury, so we aren't doing the best here. Okay, so they take a turn to play Elesh Norn. We draw an island. That's the worst draw in our deck. We have so many lands for a deck that plays like 17 lands, so we super lose our creature this turn. We get him to 7, so like maybe if we find Kroxa, we can do stuff, but oh man, we're gonna get dealt so much damage. It knocks us with Elesh Norn. That's totally fine. Gotta bother. Oh, and they're not gonna bother. They must have a Solitude in hand. Kroxa. Well, that's literally what I was looking for. So let's see if we can bait out the Solitude now, or if they're willing to take 3. Okay, we were able to get that out. They only have 1 target to exile. Gain a little bit of life back, which, you know, not necessarily a bad thing. So black, red. We don't even have the correct mana to just immediately replay Kroxa either and keep attacking their hand. Oh, Elesh Norn! Elesh Norn means Kroxa just gets to come out and be a 6/6. That's funny. Okay, I mean, the Fury's just going to kill it, but the fact that Kroxa did that's kind of funny. So you just cast Fury, you kill Kroxa, you deal like 7 damage, which is a lot. I mean, it depends on how many more removal spells they have in their hand. If they just kill Kroxa with damage as opposed to exiling it, like Kroxa comes back, and hopefully we draw like an Unholy Heat or something. But yeah, that's really funny how Elesh Norn just turns Kroxa into a 2-mana 6/6, no downside. Yeah, here's the Evoked Fury. Look, it's all the triggers twice. They're putting the evoked triggers first. They must have like a broadback or something. Like, what would they want to keep mana for? Wait, what happened? How's Kroxa alive? What just happened here? I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but apparently Fury dealt 4 damage to Kroxa and not 8. And now there's really no good attack because Kroxa's just going to come back. I mean, to be fair, I don't have a good attack either because Elesh Norn's a 4/7. We don't have a Death Shadow, so we might as well block, and we're just going to bring it back next turn. Thoughtseize. Well, I mean, we have the ability. What's going on in your hand, big guy? Another Elesh Norn. All right, so they're empty-handed, and now we get to have a Kroxa. So red, red. Oh, one of those. Black, red, black. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure, why not? All right, we still have a Kroxa. So somehow, against all odds, the game's still going, and we're actually still in it a bit. They have their own Ragavan, sure. I mean, we just make faces at each other. Here's my island. Thoughtseize isn't going to do anything at this stage in the game. That's a dead draw. I've had a lot of dead draws this game. What did they draw? Removal? Blooded Strand? Nope, they drew dead too. They drew a land. Expressive Iteration. Well, that's amazing. All right, 1 to hand will be Expressive. 1 to the bottom will be that. And Ragavan will be Exile. And we'll bite again before we commit to casting Ragavan. All right, 1 to hand will be Unholy Heat so they don't see it, and then these don't matter. Play that. No reason to Dashavan. We'll just play out that. I don't think we can cast the Unholy Heat with the lands left in our deck, but we'll just kind of hope that they draw dead again and that we don't get bit hard for tapping weird. Please don't attack. Oh, no. Oh, Fable, sure. Sure. Okay, what's left in our deck? Just the Swamp, and we are just straight up out of lands at that point? Great. Another Ragavan. Well, that's useless, so we'll just yield through the turn. Our Unholy Heat does deal 6, though. Unfortunately, Elesh Norn is a 4/7. So if they start drawing like Solitudes and stuff, our board just disappears. So please don't draw a Solitude. He can pitch the card he drew if it's not a good card, though. What's he targeting? So, oh, it gets to double. Well, unfortunately, we just have to Unholy Heat. Oh, we're just dead? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, no, we're just dead. All right. That took a while. And off to sideboarding against nonsense. I guess dress downs are good. What's bad? Thoughtseizes are okay. We got into like a pretty drawn out situation there. Got a couple street rates maybe. Smell Pierce really doesn't do anything. K Command doesn't do much. Engineer Explosives isn't another one. I guess just the dress downs. Just try that. All right. No lands. Mull. Sure, this has some things we can do, and we'll give up on the Merc Regent for now. All right, so first things first, Crypt, Channeler, Bauble, Ragavan. I actually want it. We'll cast that next turn. In fact, we'll see what they're up to. Ahiri the Unforgiving. All right, that'll come down turn 3. There's my Ragavan, which is going to dash next turn. No play. Ooh, a Death Shadow, even better. Well, we'll go get a Watery Grave. Yaha. Go to 15. Dashavan. Do I swing with the Dragon Rage Channeler too, or just Ragavan? I think they would have played out the Ragavan. I'll swing with both. If I get hit by with Ragavan, you can all make fun of me in the comments. Solitude. Well, I'm glad you didn't get to draw that. That goes back to hand. We're up a mana. Plays a land. They can dash their own Ragavan if they want. Sanctifier Envec. Okay. That's unfortunate. I can't do anything about that. I mean, Dress Down can be like a haha surprise, but it's not going to be a haha surprise this turn. So we're going to try an expressive iteration and find another land. We want that land, so leave that on top. All right. So 1 to hand will be Unholy Heat. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Play that out. Yeah, we can't even guarantee a kill, but we can do this. Looks like we have more red going on, so we'll get another Blood Crypt, deal ourselves some damage, and play out our baby Death Shadow. Now, we could get Furied off the field because of this, but I am taking risks to try and capitalize on the fact that I feel like we're better during the early game here, especially when there's a Sanctifier in play. So if this is just Nahiri, they could force an attack, but oh no, a Seasoned Pyromancer, sure. So no attacks from their end. I'm still amazed I didn't get blown out by Fury. Well, I said it, and then it became true. We'll see how they do this. So 3 and 1. It is possible to Unholy Heat and save my guy, and I'm going to try that. What do we find? A Ragavan. Yeah, so if we bin this, we get to save it. Oh, Sanctifier! Oh no, Brian. Oh, that's what you get for not paying attention, Brian. And now we can't kill Sanctifier unless we draw land. Oh boy, I bungled that. Well, we drew the land, so I get to unbungle that. Get an eye, it's fine. Everything's fine, nothing is the matter. You know what, why not? We'll, no, we can't Dashavan. Brian, stop being silly. We can just play Ragavan. So just play Ragavan, we can do everything on their turn and we'll pass. Sure, nothing I can do about that. Keep a blocker, which they're allowed to do. We'll Dress Down. Yeah, shit. Well, that gives us something to do. But in the meantime, we'll Unholy Heat that. I'm choosing to keep my life total a little bit higher, only because they have a lot of... Oh no, they have an Ephemerate. Alright, well, at least Death Shadow will be relatively sized. Kroxa does very little. Then again, not going to get rid of that Sanctifier anyway. I mean, we might as well take the Nahiri out of their hand. No reason to let them cast that. There goes Nahiri. We're at the top deck off again, but we lost that last time, and with a Sanctifier, I think we lose it again this time. Because they essentially have a roadblock for us. Like, if we find a Murktide, that could do something. Also, for some reason, there's an Unholy Heat in my graveyard. I don't know why that's there. I feel like that shouldn't be there. I feel like when Sanctifier got its abilities back, I guess there was an area where the layers didn't quite work because it lost its abilities, and that's when Unholy Heat went to the yard, so it never got a second trigger to remove anything from the yard. Oh good, they're finding ways to refill their hand. This has just been a slog of a game. After how quickly the first one was because the guy salted off, this is grindy. Sure, make it bigger. Oh, they have another one too because of fetch lands. Cool. So that's a really big Sanctifier that can just kill us in 2 turns. Yep, nothing I can do about that. We literally need Murktide or bust. Murktide, please. Polluted Delta. Well, we're gonna swing because maybe they won't see it. Oh man, whoopsie. No, all right. And that's the match. 1 and 1. Let's go on to game 3. All right, we won the die roll. Let's go. Sure. This hand could be anything. Could even be a turn 2 Ragavan. So play Polluted Delta, and here's a trick I've seen. You take a peek at your first card, and if it's something you super want, you don't shuffle your fetch. Ragavan. Okay, that's something we super want. So we're not going to turn 1 Inquisition, because we kind of want that. Just a Polluted Delta. That tells us nothing. Right, so next turn we draw 2 cards. One of them's a Ragavan, so that's what we would like. And a Kroxa. All right, so we got plenty of threats. Our opponent played the land we knew about, immediately cracks it. What do they go into? A Blood Crypt. Do they have their own Ragavan? They have a Grief. So we're going up against Scam. So might have been greedy to keep our Ragavan on top, because now we're going to lose our Ragavan and our Inquisition. Oh, they get rid of a Shadow. So they must be, yeah, they're going to get rid of 2 Shadows. They get rid of our Shadows, but we're going to get a Ragavan hit in. All right. I guess we should have also done this at the end of their turn because reasons and stuff, but I don't think we're particularly high end to win this game anymore. Dash this out. See if we can steal something useful off the top of their deck. A Thought Seize. Well, why use the one in our hand when we can use the one in theirs? Fury or Seasoned? I think right now we want to get rid of Seasoned Pyromancer because we want them to have their hand be poopy. And Ragavan's going to go back to our hand anyway, so Fury's not the scariest thing right now. We are going to start taking a lot of damage off of green, though. Yep, that's fine. Take some damage. We go to 8. Now, what are the Oh, actually, we drew a land, so we get to C. We get to Inquisition. They have nothing. Means we can drown this, and our Ragavan will get in a hit next turn. Or we can even Kroxa and set up for a Kroxa in a future turn if we draw land. We got options, is what I'm saying. Oh, did they draw a Pyromancer? So brutal. They discarded the 2 cards we knew about. So now we got problems. Murktide. Well, had another blue source, that would be great. So if we Kroxa, that throws the Hail... Yeah, I think we Kroxa, throws the Hail Mary for next turn if we find another red source. It also attacks our hand, which is nice. Here goes Feign Death. There goes Kroxa. Right? What's our opponent up to? We get hit for 3. I mean, we're pretty low life as it is. If we find one of our 2 remaining shadows, though, that'd be cool. Blue mana or red mana would be great. So we go to 3. We died a Lightning Bolt. I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to play Ragavan. Pass. Keep it up as a blocker. If they have Bolt, now they at least have to make a decision. Otherwise, Kroxa comes out next turn. Yeah, no, we block the Seasoned. All right, what's your second main phase play here, opponent? Oh, none. That's neat. So red, red, black, black. Kroxa. Nip the things that Murktide doesn't want. If we can somehow survive and make a Murktide, we might just turn this around. Rid of a Grief. That's good. That's a 4-drop. I really don't want to go to 3 life, though, if I can help it. Like, I would love to draw another creature next turn, or like a removal, or a counter spell, because I feel like they have a Lightning Bolt in their hand, and I would prefer not to die to that. Opponent in the tank, which is, I mean, they must have something. If nothing, okay. A Bauble, sure. A Terminate, oh no. So if they kill us now, like, we have information they don't. Yeah, really cutting this one close. Eat the 2 cards it wants, and we'll just pay mana for the rest. They're going to be able to kill one of our guys. So they're both on D now, but without that... I mean, apparently they don't have the Lightning Bolt, because I would have already been dead at this point, but what do we draw? Please don't be a land. Thoughtseize. Well, that's uncastable. That's what I get for asking for a not land. So they have a Terminate in hand. We know this. We're at 1. So, like, Expressive Iterations would be great. Ragavan would be fine, because I feel like they'd feel the need to either kill that or block that. There's the Terminate. Okay, that's fine. We knew about that. Do they have one more removal spell? Oh, why did they? Huh. I mean, it puts us in a spot where we have to have it, and we don't. We die, and that's the match, so that's unfortunate. Can we draw a card game? Great Wraith wouldn't have done anything. Actually, no, that would have been a blocker. That would have been fine, Ragavan, so... We unfortunately were a couple cards off it. Oh well, 1 and 2. Let's go to round 4. All right, we're going to start recording because my match started, and also while we're waiting for... Wow, this really looks screwed up. While we're waiting for Midgo to kind of come back to us and find out why I'm not on the screen... We'll go ahead and take a look at the first hand, which unfortunately has no black, so we'll mull. Sure, we can keep this. Come on, have time to fix OBS. What is going on? Maybe if I add video capture device, make a new one. Camlink, right? Camlink, why are you so upset at the moment? Why am I not on screen? Come on. All right, so we're going to keep this. We're going to put back one of the lands. Probably the Blood Crypt is fine to put back. Now, normally it's a problem when you put a Ragavan out turn 1, and this is no different. All right, we'll get a Blood Crypt because we need to play us a Ragavan. And OBS just does not want to see my face right now. All right, and we'll pass the turn from there. Right. Lens cap is not on, folks, by the way. So if anyone's typing lens cap, not that. What if I just completely unplug this? Does that do anything? And our opponent played a Swamp Aether Vial? What is going on? All right, well, clearly I have to focus my attention on the screen, even though I am not seen at the moment, which is just super cool. Then again, I suppose you don't come here to see my smiling face and charming personality. All right, play this out. They have a 0-drop, but this must be like goblins, maybe. Like they just let off with their 1 of Swamp, but Swamp into Aether Vial sounds like goblins to me. What do we steal? A Nykthos. Is this like mono black or something? Well, in the meantime, we'll attack their hand a bit. Get a Watery Grave. Yeah, sure. And red and black and Kroxa time. Alrighty. Right. Looks like they decided to get rid of a Urborg. I think this is that Coffers deck. Not sure why there's an Aether Vial, but just big black or whatever you want to call it. Oh, because they have another Urborg. That's why they did that. Gifted Aetherborn. Luckily for us, we have a Bolt. So actually, first things first, we'll red, blue. I guess, yeah, we already... Oh, but we have that. Okay, cool. So Shadow to hand, Watery Grave to bottom, Bolt to exile. We'll go get another red source, so Blood Crypt. Yeah. Bolt that thing out of the way. We'll just come swinging in with Ragavan. We find a swamp. All right, so we just continue to helpfully take their lands off the top of the deck. Then again, getting rid of a Nykthos is probably important against the Nykthos deck. All right, doesn't look like our opponent is... Oh, they found another Nykthos, so that's not great. Liliana of the Veil. Well, there goes Ragavan. Yep, Ragavan down. Rid of this thing now. There goes Lily, keeping their field clean. We can still Croxa, though. Another Death Shadow, but I feel like that's a later thing. Red, red, black, red. Oh, no, red, red, black, black. Croxa. Take that, take that, take that, and that. We have to take one of our lightning bolts. Here comes Croxa attacking their hand again. They ditch a Vial, which is kind of like ditching a land, but not taking 3 damage. We have 2 shadows in hand that are only going to be 2/2s, so that's a thing. All right, I just have to give up on camera for this game. Please don't be Lily again. Oh no, why? They have a second Liliana of the Veil. Have to sacrifice Croxa. Sadness. We find a Bauble. Guess we can see what they're going to be doing next turn. Another Lily! My word. Well, we're going to have to discard something, so let's just play out the 2 Death Shadows. They're baby Death Shadows, but I reckon the Death Shadows are going to be a little bit more important than the Drown in the Lock. All right, we drew a land we could just pitch. I mean, they could tick up, play another Lily, and tick up. I don't see them doing that, though. Hey, I got my camera to work again. Great. Also, what's been happening in the game while I've been doing that? Swift end one of my guys. Then if they tick up, we'll discard Drown in the Lock? Yeah. Because they're tapped out. We know they have another Lily, but unless we draw discard, I mean, we kind of have to run into it. Unholy Heat. Oh, that'll solve the problem. So kill that. We get to crunch them for 5. I guess just get the Steam Vent, because it's a Triome. I mean, we'll have a Croxa next turn, which is also cool. Unless they play, like, Bajuka Bog or something, so... They have a Lily, they'll play Lily, tick down Lily, it'll be fine. I don't see a world where they don't play and tick down Lily, though. Alright, cool. So, unless their last card is literally, Phyrexian Negator, I think we're pretty fine. Not Negator, Negator's the old one, the Obliterator. Alright, sure. You're sure doing that, opponent. So whatever we draw is pretty unimportant at the moment, because we're just going to play Croxa and try and take out their card. And if it's a 4-drop, it's a 4-drop. It's another Death Shadow, but I honestly think Croxa's better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do that. We're going to put another creature in our graveyard when they uptick Lily. Just don't be the Phyrexian, and we should be fine. I mean, we know it's some kind of non-land, otherwise they just would have played the land. I mean, we're in top deck mode at this point. Evolved Sleeper. Well, glad that's gone. So we have a 6/6 with upside. They have a Lily. They're going to get us to discard our Death Shadow, but we're going to start swinging in pretty hard. So unless they play a Death Toucher, we're in fine place. But they do have Gifted Aetherborns. We have seen them. This is a really weird deck to be playing a Vial, though. Especially when you have things like you want to put on an adventure. It is a Death Toucher. That's unfortunate. Now they just tick up and we lose our Shadow. A Murktide. Okay. So we'll just swing at our opponent. They're going to take at least 3. They go to 3. They're going to block with the Nighthawk Scavenger. They're going to go back up to 7. All right. And then we Murk, playing our mana as well. It is a 5/5. They do have a Liliana that they can just sack, I suppose. But hey, we would have had to discard it anyway, so the best we could do. Whatever they have, they can either play or Evolve Sleeper, sure. This never gets lifelink, right? No, that's fine. They have to just trade in Liliana, right? Because there's no way they're going to let it go to 2. That's what I thought. So we're in a top deck off, and we've kind of learned that this deck doesn't do great in top deck offs. Unholy Heat. Well, stop you from drawing any cards. And pass the turn. I mean, 2 more cards in the bin. Croxa comes back, so that's an inevitability I was talking about with Croxa. 5's got to be for Gary, right? So they just want to be able to throw Gary out there if they have the ability. Another night. Oh no, they're just putting out the Murderous Rider, sure. I mean, it might get us. It only needs 4 turns. Especially if we... Oh, it goes Ragavan. So we'll just play Ragavan. They want to trade the Murderous Rider, or like gaining 2 life to let us get a Ragavan hit. I doubt that's the case. I think it'll be something like they'll kill Ragavan or they'll play a blocker and then they'll swing with Murderous Rider. Yep, go for it. No way I block. Oh, okay. Does not attack. That's good. Bloodstained Mire. Not what we're looking for. We're going to hold that in hand and just pass. Actually, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we attack with Ragavan and they block, we get to Croxa. Great. All right, now we play this. This also goes to the bin. Look, it's a super swamp. So swamp, red, Croxa again. Getting rid of the whole bin. Haha, opponent. But you didn't see my broken mythic. Coming in and making your life harder. So we traded our Ragavan for a Kroxa. Ooh, we got rid of the Vindicator. This is a white-black deck? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all over it. I love Phyrexian Vindicator. People who've watched previous videos on me, like, I love me Vindicators. It definitely means I'm scared of Obliterators coming out, too, because you have to have both, right? Please don't have removal. No way it's another Lily. No way. Oh, no. Oh, no, it's the Obliterator. So here's the problem there. We can't swing through that. We're flooding out in our deck that has well under 20 lands. Well under 20 lands. At this point, even a Street Wraith would be good, because it's unblockable. Another Obliterator. Well, this one's getting away from us, folks. How do we get out of this? I guess we'll just take the damage this time. We'll even go to 1, because none of this matters at this point. Please don't be a land or like a Thoughtseize. Oh my god! Wow! 17 lands, draw a million of them. I guess the Dress Downs are cool. Engineered Explosives aren't going to do much. Fatal Pushes aren't going to do a ton. Yeah, not a lot we actually have versus this. What do we not like? It's like the Drowns are our only way to get rid of those big dummy creatures. Nip a Street Wraith, nip a Murktide, play 2 of those guys. See how that goes? All right, what do we got going on here? This seems more than fine. This seems amazing. So if any of these was a fetch land, we'd have a pretty good chance of... Couldn't even let me get the sentence out, opponent, huh? Oh, that's so brutal. We keep a hand because the Dragon Rage Channeler and they Leyline to the Void. You know, game recognizing game, I suppose. Here's our Dragon Rage Channeler that's just going to pitch things into the abyss. All right, what do we got going on here? Unholy Heat. I feel like we're going to... Oh, but that only deals 2 damage, so nah, we good. That doesn't do anything. What are you going to draw? Swamp, sure. Oh, man, we were set to have such a good aggressive start, and dude just drops Leyline of the Void like it's nothing. All right, we draw what? A Watery Grave. Well, good things we keep finding lands. Evolve Sleeper time? No, all right. Now would be a great time to draw Ragavan. Another Unholy Heat after I pitched 1 into the Void. Oh, man, it must be my birthday. So we'll cycle this for fun. Oh, good. We're drawing a whole bunch of air at the moment. Street Wraith, no, that can go. What are you going to draw next? More swamps. Watery Grave. No need to take the extra damage. Just swing with our Darcy. Our sad Darcy that could have been so much more. But our opponent, man, they are just a better Magic player than us. Boy, howdy. On lands and not Ragavans. Torpor Orb. Well, that's a little hat on a hat, if you ask me. We're just going to try and find our answer at this point, because we got to be quick. We lose the top deck off. Death Shadow, that's good. Put that on top. We have an Expressive Iteration then where we can also try and draw into cool stuff. We shave the one off the top. Been that fascinating. So 1 to hand is the one we're going to use. So I guess we'll keep Drown. No, Drown doesn't actually kill anything. So we'll keep Dress Down because it cycles. Put that to the bottom, and we'll Thoughtseize our opponent this turn. So Polluted Delta. Get a Blood Crypt. Deal ourselves a million damage. Also get to take a look at our top of our deck. Another Drown. No, they have nothing in their graveyard, so Drown's not going to do it. Oh, dear. I mean, we have the Dress Down. I don't think either. I guess we just don't. I guess the Shieldred we could technically play through. The Negator is kind of just unfortunate. Back for my 1. I mean, we're going to play a big Shadow next turn. Their Shieldred is going to help pump our thing. We have a Dress Down so that when they block with Shieldred, we could hopefully just eat it. I also think at this point, we'll trade the Dragon Rage Channeler for the Nighthawk Scavenger and just try and keep their hand pretty awful, if you ask me. Because Unholy Heat's not going to do much more. All right, so Blood Crypt, take damage. Swing with Dragon Rage Channeler. We'll get 1 more peek. I mean, if they also just take the damage, they just take the damage. Sweet. Holy Heat. 1 more peek at the top of our deck. Ragavan. I guess we want that. Trade the creatures. Play our Shadow. We're going to have to leave our Dress Down, though, as a if they block with Shieldred kind of thing. If they don't block with Shieldred and they just... Are you kidding me? Oh, man, how do they do it? How do they play so good? Ow, that hurts so much. All right, well, we gotta hope we find another one of those, because we don't have much other of a plan. Oh, we do get the Ragavan, though. We definitely have to hit our opponent, too. That's just, like, how this works. So, Ragavan, cast with Dash. Hit our opponent. Please find something cool. Like an Obliterator, that'd be great. Torpor Orb, that's awful. I'd rather they have drawn that and not taken any damage. Well, that goes back to our hand now. That sucks so much. All the way to their second main. Play the Nykthos, sure. Gifted Etherborn. Yep, nothing we could do about him. Play Shieldred. Yep. Give up on the Watery Grave, I think, obviously. What do we draw? A Kroxa. That does nothing. Actually, their Torpor Orb means our Kroxa just comes down, right? I think that's how this works. Yeah, we just get a Kroxa. Boy, howdy. And now we also get a Ragavan to keep our Kroxa. And then we'll dress down when they try and attack with Shieldred, I reckon? Why was there a Torpor Orb, actually? That, like, made our Kroxa really good and actually made our Kroxa, like, a thing. So they take down Liliana, we get rid of Ragavan, which, thank you, Monkey, we thank you for your service. Yep, that's fine. If they just swing with Gifted Etherborn, we just cop it, and then we try and swing with Kroxa, maybe? Oh, no, okay, perfect. Cool. And we find a bolt for the Gifted Etherborn. My word. Please let me block. All right. We might have just stolen this one back. All right. So please just leave a thing. All right. Let's see what they're drawing. Swamp. Oh, amazing. Oh, man. Don't click through your turn, Brian. Here it comes. A Runch. Oh, man. They draw a swamp and we win and we get to go to game 3? Yep. They should scoop any moment. Oh, they're not going to scoop. How good for them. So we'll just go to combat. It's K-Runch. All right. I guess I can't actually make 4 colors to stop the ley line of the vault. Because, like, we have the engineered explosive, but I don't think we can only do up to 3 colors, so that's not going to do it. I mean, if they just mull down to that, they just mull down to that. There's nothing we can do. I mean, the dress downs were amazing in that match. Maybe we even bring in the Thorax as, like, backup against, what'd you call it? We'll take out a drown, because we're probably not going to have a graveyard, and try that. All right, again, this in theory is a great hand, so we'll keep. Oh, they didn't have Leyline. Okay, so now Darcy comes out first turn, unless they place. Oh no, Thoughtseize. So I have a feeling they get rid of Ragavan. I have a feeling they don't see the Darcy as this big of a threat. Like, I would prefer the Darcy actually, because that's going to let us manipulate our deck into cool stuff, and then they apparently saw that line. Ooh, no, opponent. Oh no. Yeah, Blood Crypt. Don't you feel salty? Cast the Bauble. Dress down. You know what? We're going fast. So Graveyard. And that's a turn 1 Dragon. Oh, we win the match! We did it, guys! That's 2 and 2. We got 1 more. Let's go to the final and see if we can go positive. All right, we are on game 5, fighting 4, going positive. We lose the die roll, which is fine. This hand could be anything. I don't know, it's always worked out such well when I didn't have my 1-drops in hands, right? Why would I change my playstyle now? See what our opponent's first move is. A Bloodstained Mire, sure, and no other thing. So we actually have Baubles and a Wraith, so we get to kind of pick what we want our Bauble to do, which is great. Unless we draw like a Ragavan or so. Oh, we draw a Dragon Rage Channeler, even better. All right, so we go get a Blood Crypt, and we just try and make this a 3/3 out of the gate. What do we have up top? Watery Grave, that can go in the bin. All right, try again. Swamp, okay, well, I'm glad I'm not drawing these lands. However, we did not achieve turn 1 Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay, so Dragon Rage Channeler totally dies now. Nothing we can do about that. We'll draw our 2 cards. They have a Fury. Oh man. Maybe it's Scam again. Yeah, looking like Scam. So we get to draw essentially an Ancestral Recall, another Street Wraith, cool, Delta. What are they doing here? They're playing a Voidwalker. Well, so we do this now then. Lightning Bolt. Oh, okay, so that kills the Voidwalker. That solves the problem. We're definitely up against Scam a second time though. We will get Delirium though, because we'll be able to Bolt and then Thoughtseize, which is fine. I mean, we're putting our life down dangerously low, but we're also playing Shadow, so nothing we have to worry about, or nothing we should worry about. Watery Grave. Aw, this guy. We're gonna leave that up top because that's not actually gonna go in the bin anyway. And we Thoughtseize our opponent. Thoughtseize, that can go in the... Oh, that's our Thoughtseize. Haha. Want the Thoughtseize now. Now we can put that in the... Grief, Pyro. I don't see Grief doing anything, so we'll just take a Pyro. Oh, they fetched. That's why they didn't have the Fury. Okay, I was kind of confused there. So now, I mean, we're starting the beatdown. It's turn 2 and we're at 8, but if we find a Shadow, then we are right where we want to be. They're gonna play a Pyro, though, and pitch some stuff. Yeah, Season Pyro B. It's just 2 cards we knew. I mean, our hand is pretty unthoughtseizable anyway, thanks to it being mostly lands, which, again, amazing that it does that. Oh, they still had a Grief. Well, that actually makes our hand much worse. The Expressive Iteration was kind of important. They got rid of a Thoughtseize, sure. All right, we need to not draw land right now. No lands, no lands. Take that, opponent. I get to do it anyway. Inquisition can go in the bin. 1 to hand. Merc, down to bottom. We'll use the Unholy Heat right now. We need the Steam Vent. Oh, rid of that. I mean, we're playing with a lot of fire right now, being at 5, but iteration, keep on top. It's good. All right, here comes Darcy. So we do need them to draw a little dead at the moment. If they do, that's great, because we'll get the Murktide down. Murktide's going to be all shades of huge. And they're just going to swing for 1, right? Yeah, put us to 4. Worst thing they could have right now is a Fury. Nothing will do. Nothing will do. Great. So play that. Go blue, blue. Actually, we can attack first, because we still want our clock going. We don't want to turn off the Darcy right now. Blue, blue. Murktide Regent. We can get rid of all of one thing. It looks like sorceries are that. Sorcery, 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 sorcery. 2 blue. I'm not even going to cast Expressive Iteration. I'm just going to hope that Murktide gets me there. If they have a Terminate, they have a Terminate. A Grief evoked. Okay, so maybe they're just checking my hand to see if I have anything to stop their removal spell. What did they get rid of? A Void Walker. Okay. Bane Death. Oh, okay, we just win. I didn't crack my land and Expressive only because Lightning Bolt. That's game 1. Dress Down seems fine. Pushes are also kind of okay. Unlicensed Hearse is also good. What's bad? Take out 2 of our those, 2 of our rates. Like what? Try that and then put in these guys along with 1 relic. Try like that. Boy, I wish this had a mana, but nope. They mull as well, which is good. Sure. We can get rid of probably the island. Get rid of that. Turn 1, Steam Vent, Dragon Rage Channeler. Turn 2, Swamp Croxa. Ooh, Malakarmire. So they do nothing turn 1, which is good for us. Death Shadow. Neat. Steam Vent. Cool. Channeler. And just pass the turn. Opponent draws and plays a Swamp. Seems to be all they're after. Thoughtseize seems better at this point. Not kind of want that land. Voidwalker, Rebirth, Lightning Bolt, Undying Malice. We can take their land? Yeah, we'll just take their land. So now they're a little up the creek, as it were. We get our Belding Tarn as well. Smack them. I mean, if they draw red mana, they draw red mana. But we're hoping they continue to be a little screw-ed and that they play their Voidwalker with no, backup. Ah, they get to Ragavan us. Oh, Voidwalker, really? That's surprising. Unlicensed Hearse. So that's going to be a thing later because it's kind of a nombo with the Drown in the Lock, but we'll swing and see what they do. Hopefully they just try and kill the Darcy with the Lightning Bolt. That would be like the best for us. No, they're not going to bite. So we're just gonna pass, I think. So I can always make the Voidwalker come back is the thing. But if we can get them to just do anything that puts something in the bin, then again, we can just counter Ragavan if they Ragavan. Yeah, I feel like doing this also helps. Bobble. Nah, you guys can have Bobble. If you want to sacrifice Voidwalker for a Bobble, that's fine. Hey, they hit us. They activate our trap card. Right, this. Deal ourselves some damage. We need a second blue source in case we find Merc. Expressive Iteration. We can even do that. Red, blue. What else do we find? Drown in the Lock. No, we kind of want that. All right, so we're going to put Drown into our hand. We're going to put Croxa back in, and we're going to give up on the Darcy. We're going to go for a swing. We're going to play Big Shadow. If they want to hit us again with the Voidwalker, they're more than welcome to. Also, if they want to use our Drown in the Lock to kill our Shadow, that's great. That's honestly amazing, because then we have a Croxa we can put into our bin. So of their 4 cards in hand, we know about Lightning Bolt and Undying Malice. Does Undying Malice for any reason? Oh yeah, no, it's when this creature dies, so even if they sacrifice it, they can do it twice. But like, they can't do it and deal me 6 is the thing, because they have to deal me 6 and then they have to kill the Shadow. Or Shadow just kind of thwomps them pretty hardcore. Yeah, like they could get a Drown. They can Expressive if they want. I don't think giving up Voidwalker for an Expressive is correct though. Oh, finally making a decision on something. So Undying Malice, probably going to kill our Shadow then. Oh, they're going to Expressive. Really? I mean, we get to kill their Voidwalker though, and then we just have to knock it to 3 is the thing. NG. So NG on 1? Dashavan, they get to do it all. Oh no. Oh wait, I have a Death Shadow. My Shadow doesn't have Shadow. I don't know what your thought was there, big guy. I'm not letting you hit me. That was a really weird pitch of a Ragavan. Not gonna lie. Don't know what he thought was gonna happen. Dress Down. Well, that means we can deal 13, 14 damage, but that's not gonna win the game, so we'll just kill this while we can. Hopefully surveil into something cool. Relic of Progenitus. I don't think that's where we want to be. We attack with both creatures, and the next turn the Dress Down can be used offensively. Find a land. That is a blowout. That eventually turns into a big guy, and I'm at low life totals. The good news is we still have Croxa, so if we draw another, we need another land, pretty much, just another land, we can pull this off. Oh, you'll love to see it, folks, you really do. So just get whatever, and then you dress down. And then you 6/6. All right, you can exile my graveyard now. Don't need it. And we have a Dashavan too if they somehow kill the Croxa. Oh, do they have a Fatal Push? That'd be so sad. I'm about to eat a big old slice of humble pie if they have a Fatal Push. Oh no. Right, all the cards get exiled. Not much you can do about that. Unless there plays Liliana, I feel pretty okay. Feels like Liliana, though. It really looks like Magus of the Moon. That doesn't do as much as you think it does, opponent. Unless I literally draw Murktide now, which I couldn't cast anyway because, you know, Delve's a thing. Thought Seize. Well, the good news is I get to Dashavan. We'll just go ahead and swing because he's going to have to block Croxa. This thing has haste, right? It doesn't. Okay, cool. I get another turn. They can discard Grief, which is fair enough. Gotta block something. Yeah, that's what I thought. Verdant Catacombs. Kind of wish they drew that. Look, there's no reason not to Unlicensed Hearse at this point. And we're going to try and stay out of bolt range. Monkey Hide's back in our hand. I mean, this could go either way at this point. Voidwalker, that's a thing. But he has to block with the Vessel of the All-Consuming. Two things. Luda Delta, I mean, play it out. We're not going to do it, though. Cast Ragavan. Has to block Croxa and has to get rid of whatever's in his hand. Oh, if it's an Undying Malice, that's actually kind of annoying. Bolts Ragavan rather than me securing a win. I don't have any direct damage in my thing, do I? No, I don't. And I don't have anything in my graveyard, so yeah, that was weird. So for those of you playing at home, if my opponent had bolted me and then just attacked with Voidwalker, our opponent would have won. But they bolted Ragavan. Oh, because they would have died. Oh, well, no, because they wouldn't have taken 3. Oh, okay. I suppose they were in a harder spot than I gave them credit for. If they have Bolt, though, they do just win. So they're not going to attack. This leads me to believe they have some way of getting rid of our Croxa. I don't recall any way of them doing that. What card they're going to play? Oh, they're just going to dig. They're going to dig for the Lightning Bolt. I mean, if they find it, they deserve it. I mean, that's just deck construction at the point. They seem to be doing some bath. Maybe they found a blocker. Fatal Push. Well, there goes Croxa, which is unfortunate. So they found an answer to Croxa. For us, though, if we find any creature, I guess actually with the exception of Darcy, because Darcy's not gonna be able to do that. Death Shadow, that is a good find though. So Death Shadow, crew my Unlicensed Hearse. So for those of you paying attention, the giant avatar from Zendikar has gotten into a car. It is now going to go vroom vroom over our opponent. Hey, we win the match. We go 3-2. That's positive. Let's go to the wrap up. All right, so 3-2. Weird things happening with my camera in the middle there. Sorry about that, folks. But hey, 3-2 for a deck that's well known, but I'm playing very much not the definitive version of the deck. I'm very much playing a version of the deck that has its own weaknesses and issues. If you're going to play Shadow, definitely play the more meta of the versions with like Jingatha and stuff. The one I'm playing here, you can't because it has Murktide and Street Wraith, but this was literally a deck of just what I had lying around. So I also recommend doing that. If you just have the cards to make 90-95% of a deck, or even a version of the deck that is arguably just as good, just do that. It's honestly a great time. For me personally, obviously I'd want to, acquire the Breach version of this deck if I wanted to do well, but if this was my first video where you saw me, guys, I don't play to win and spike every single thing. I'm not a good enough player to worry about doing that, but I play for my own enjoyment, and this was very enjoyable. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. If you have a list you want me to take a look at, or maybe even play, go ahead and email me at HeyDummyPlayThis@gmail.com. That's HeyDummyPlayThis@gmail.com. Fun fact, I think like 90% of the people who watch these things are not subscribed, and even beyond that, only about 3% of you get to the very end. So if you did, thank you guys very much, and I will see you next time. Later.